Hello again, everyone. Jason Fuller here, Chief Flight Instructor for Excel Aviation. I want to just go over our oil cooler plate on our PA28-140s. It's now winter time, and around here our weather and temperature swing so rapidly that it is a pre-flight operation to worry about the oil cooler plate on the Cherokee 140. Now right here in our checklist, I'm going to bring this up close. So once you see, and if you've been taught your checklists, so make sure you understand alternator belt, oil cooler plate on or off 40 degrees. It's right on the checklist. It is a checklist or pre-flight item. Now the alternator belt, we've all learned it's up in here. We'll check for tautness up in there, but the oil cooler plate, okay, hopefully you've been taught this, but if not, here's our procedures. It's right here. It's right behind this propeller. Propeller's in our way right now, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push it a little backwards, get us clear of our oil cooler plate. Now right now it's currently on. And actually, if I was pre-flighting today, I would want it off due to temperatures, okay? So what this is doing in our cold weather procedures video talks about it, but this is a radiator that allows the oil to be cooled as it picks up heat from the engine. Downside, as the temperatures get colder, the oil actually isn't heating up to operating temperature already, and then we're allowing air to flow through, cool it down even more, and then our oil stays very cold. What do we know about cold oil? Cold oil is thick, like syrup. So do you think it's going to lubricate and flow through this engine and lubricate those metal parts like it should? It's not. So what's that going to do? It's going to cause increased wear. It's actually going to cause increased temperature at the surface of those parts. But possibly, worst case scenario, you could see catastrophic failure in flight if this was off and you're flying in below temperatures that it should be on. Because you'd start having non-lubrication, you could literally see a piston shoot right out the side of your engine from poor lubrication, excessive heat at that surface area, and it could cause cracking and many other things that we do not want to happen. You don't want to be airborne with that happening. So this is a very, very, very important thing that you must know about and make sure you're checking during your pre-flight and using it appropriately. Okay, now that's if it's on or off and it's too cold. Now what if it's on, it's been cold, and you pre-flight and you just don't take it off and the temperatures are going to be too warm? Once again, very, very big problem. Okay, now you're not allowing the oil to cool. Oil temperature comes up, gets higher, overheats the engine. Same thing, catastrophic failure. That's actually a very, very high risk of catastrophic failure, and you're going to find yourself in a field, hopefully safely in a field doing an emergency, but you will be doing an emergency for engine shutdown. And we don't want that, so this is a huge, huge thing that is super important. And if you've been flying a lot in the summer, you're gonna forget about this. You shouldn't, because right here, again, it's right there on the checklist, okay? Every time you do your pre-flight, you go oil cooler, alternator belt, oil cooler plate, nope, temperatures looks good. So you've got to be on top of that. That's 100% every pre-flight checked every time. Okay, so it's a big deal. Now, how do we decide, should it be on, should it be off? It's super simple, goes back to flight again. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to airports. I'm gonna kind of get you a little close here. We're gonna go to airports, and the easiest thing to do is to go to daily, because daily is gonna give us a rundown of hour by hour on temperatures. So if I open today up and I look, here today down at the bottom, 48 right now. It is a little chilly, but it's gonna be, well, lo and behold, it's going to go up to, 57, 58 degrees today. So I know, number one, it says right in my checklist, oil cooler plate 40 degrees. So that's our operational temperature that we're looking for, 40 degrees. If it's below 40 degrees, want that bad boy on. If it is above 40 degrees, any portion of your expected flight, it should be off. So that's another big key. It's not right now, I'm cold. It's what is my flight going to be? And not just here. If you're taking a cross country, this is where it gets really crazy. Let's say you're heading to Florida. That's a great one. We're heading to Florida. It's 12 degrees right now. Okay. I'm like, well, I definitely need it on for climbing out of here. I need my oil to lubricate as I go full power and climb. But here's a problem. By the time you get south of Nashville, it's 45, 50, 60 degrees. What are you going to do? Well, it sucks, but you're going to put the oil cooler plate on and you're going to fly. And as you see the temperatures rise, you're going to land, shut down, take it off, and then take back off. But that's the correct operational procedure, and also to safely fly a piston aircraft in the winter season. So it's not just about our local, it's about where are you going. So you got to start looking at your daily and start going, okay, look at the locations I'm flying. What hours am I going to be at? Around here, it is very common to have 12 degrees when you come out to fly, and by 3 o'clock, it's 60 degrees. We're crazy weather around here. So it is such a big portion of your pre-flight inspection to know, should this be on, should it be off, how am I going to take it off, and where do I find it? Okay, super easy to do. We look at that right there. Can't miss it. All right, so now, the other thing that has happened to me before I show the procedures of taking it on and off, is I've flown one time. So only had one time. It was an extreme temperature inversion. So I was on a lesson. It was 18 degrees, forecast to stay 30 degrees. So obviously we had our oil cooler plate on. We were on a cross country headed north. So only getting colder, no problem. So we go and take off, and we're en route climb to 4,500 feet. As we get up to 4,500 feet, we both look down and our oil temperature goes past 180, 200, 210, and starts pushing towards red line. We're like, whoa, what's going on here? We start troubleshooting, do I have other pressures or temperatures that are wrong? No, oil pressure's good. I haven't lost my oil pump. What's going on? As temperature climbs, now oil pressure is leading off a little bit. Well, oil's getting thin, so we're losing our pressure. Happen to look at the outside air temperature, 60 degrees. Yes, on the ground, it was 20. At 4,500 feet, it was 60 degrees, a very extreme temperature inversion. How could we have caught that? Well, sometimes you just can't. And what did we do? What do you think we did? Well, it was easy. We just reduced power, started descending. As we came down, temperature started to get colder, which it shouldn't, but temperature inversion. Oil temp got back in line. We found the nearest airport at a low altitude, went there, shut down, popped the oil cooler plate off, put it back, and took right back off and went on. Now, again, there is one way you might have caught that, and if you go back to ForeFlight and you go to your winds, we have a wind and temperature aloft, and it shows you generally will always see a decrease in temperature here. But today, well, here we are today. It's perfect. I don't know if you can see this. We have a temperature inversion. Here on the ground, it's about 3. Then it goes down to +1, but 6,000 is +4. 9,000 +4. Now it's Celsius. That's going to be over or right around the 40 degrees. So here we are today. I chose to do this training video, and there's a temperature inversion. So what would I do? Well, the good news is, what would I do? It's warm anyway. It would be off either way. Okay, so very, very key important things that we want to worry about on that temperature. Okay, right there in daily. Now, how are we going to make this work? Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to need a screwdriver, okay, and the oil cooler plate if it's not already on and you want to put it on. Now, both of those should be able to be found in the aircraft. We try to keep those there as long as someone doesn't remove them. They're either going to be in that pocket by the pilot, co-pilot side, as you open the door where you get like the fuel stick, or a lot of the planes I'm putting a little storage container in the back, and you would find them there. So that's where you should find them. If not, we keep tools and everything within the office for it as well, and you can give us a shout if you need help finding it. So first thing we're going to do, there are 2 small Phillips screwdrivers right here. They should always be in place. So if the oil cooler plate's off, those screws are threaded back in their holes so that they're readily available for if the oil cooler plate ever needs to be put on. So I'm here with one on, and I'm pre-flighting, and I know, man, this thing needs to be taken off. So I'm just gonna kind of bring it up here. I don't have anyone to help me here, but you can see here, if I hold this, you got your oil cooler plate, okay? I've got my screw there, and I got my screw there, okay? And that's what I'm gonna be taking out. Now, it is possible for these to drop and slide down into the cowling. Don't get too worried about that. They'll fall out on the ground, or anywhere they do end up. It's not gonna be anywhere that you have an issue in the airplane. So what you would just do is we can find another one out there. Okay, let me get this reset up for us, and I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna take it off. Okay, so here I go. I'm gonna come up here, super simple. Just literally gonna spin one screw out. Okay, one. Screw number 2 is almost done. Try not to drop it. 2 screws, or cooler plate is off. And then I would take my screw, okay? Got my screw, I'm gonna put it back into its hole. and thread it down tight. Now, these do not have to be snug so much you strip the screw out, just down till they touch and a little bit past. So I go down, I'm just gonna give it a little torque in. Okay, and these are all something that is part of the pilot's operation. It's part of the POH, part of the winterization kit that they call this for the addition of the aircraft. So now I'm gonna thread that back in. Now I'm gonna come grab you here, and you can see right there, you can see where we got it. We got our now clear our oil cooler plate, and our 2 screws are back in their hole. Okay, so that is our oil cooler plate removed. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick it up since I dropped it. I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna put those back where they should be so that the next person can find it. Okay, very easy to do. If you have any questions about that operation, please ask me or any of our flight instructors who can make sure, because it's very, very important for you to fly this aircraft safely. Make sure you get up, you get down safely, no engine issues, and that our engines last us a nice long period of time. All right, thank you for your time.